Every year, every year, the world pauses to celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child, a day that reminds us of the unique challenges girls face and the limitless possibilities that lie within them. The girl child is more than just a future mother, a sister, or a daughter. She's a visionary leader, a change maker. Yet, in many parts of the world, she continues to face barriers such as gender discrimination, marriage, child marriage, maybe limited access to education to some extent, and even harmful cultural practices that silences her voice. Of course, we know when we empower the girl child through education, mentorship programs, and also equal opportunity, we are not just transforming her, we are transforming a whole nation, communities. You know, I know that an educated and confident girl grows into a woman who contributes meaningfully to her society, promotes also equality, and even drives innovation and progress. I mean, you can remember the lives of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I mean, she's a woman to reckon with. I mean, she's not just a name, but she has that courage that has possessed good innovations and progress in our society. But the theme for this year's Girl Child is the girl I am, the change I lead. That's girls on the front lines of crisis. Oh, so many ladies still face crisis. A United Nation did put it that they know that child marriage still exists in Nigeria, especially in the northern part of the country. While the story of the Nigerian girl is no longer one of silence, it's a story of capacity, inner strength, resilience, courage, and of course, leadership. We know that the girl child that we have today, if properly educated and shown the right track, will become a leading change in our society. Women, there's so many women in our society that are doing great. Is it in tech? Is it in innovation? They are turning a lot of moments of crisis into opportunity. You know, all we need to do is protect them and give them that growth they have, you know, destined to have. I know FIDA, as a Female Lawyers Association of Nigeria, said girls across Nigeria are proving that leadership has no age, and of course, resilience has no limits. I think they made mention of some names. I think Amara Muneli, she was the winner of the 2025 Earth Prize of Environmental Innovation for transforming a landfill in Lagos State. She transformed it into a safe playground using recycled tires. She was using tires to build chairs, using tires to build beautiful things, tables, that when you see them, you marvel at such artifacts. You know, there was also, I think, Miss Mary Victor Zira, who is rebuilding hope for displaced children through education in conflict affected areas like Borno State. You know, there's also one Akachuku Blessed, if I remember very well. I think Akachuku Blessed Nwachuku and Ifonanya Gabriela Okoye. They both founded these local tech hubs to teach girls tech codes, and digital creativity. These young ones are change makers. They are redefining what is meant to lead, you know, the country, male dominated areas. You see them, they are doing great. So it's just nice that women, one way or the other, should be given that chance and places to just excel. But beyond all this, there are challenges. There are challenges bedeviling the girl child. Probably, maybe growing up, if they have grown, you know, and so many of it affect us daily. But then they are not resisting. They're ready to rise from ashes to overcome obstacles such as poverty, insecurity, as well as harmful traditions. We keep pushing the trend. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not alone in the studio. To give light to this wonderful discussion this morning is no other than, okay, let me give a brief of her. Her name is Ambassador Mavis Ogbewi. She is the Miss Face of Humanity Nigeria, fourth ambassador, and she's from Delta State. She's a law graduate of Foundation of the Child's Health and Rights on Watch. She advocates for children's rights, and she's also working with UNICEF Nigeria to create a sustainable future where every child's rights are protected. All right. Ambassador Berry, good to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right. And happy International Girls' Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, now let's take it this angle. Education remains the most powerful tool that
Yes.
fuels innovation
Yes.
and even education itself. And most of the challenges they've talked about at education is one of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just want you to say, as a Nigerian girl child growing up,
Mm-hmm.
what were those challenges you encountered,
Okay.
but then you surmounted it?
Yes. Thank you very much. So first of all, I would love to take us down memory lane. We celebrate International Day of the Girl Child as declared by the United Nations, and the first ever time that it was celebrated or observed was in October 11th, 2012. And the reason why this day is celebrated is to talk about, shed more light to gender inequality, and also create opportunities for girls. Now, like you asked me, challenges of education, there are several challenges that are faced, particularly girls. One is the cultural norm. So there is a culture that believes that it is important for the boy child to go to school, and then the girl child should probably stay at home doing house chores. Now, for me, the issue that we're faced with was particularly economic hardship. Now, it was very difficult, and I have brothers as well. And in situations like that, what comes to the mind of the parents most times, they want to send their boy child first to school before the girl. But I'm fortunate to have been better in a family that understands the importance of education. So my dad understood what education meant, and he's not someone to limit his children and our dreams. So he tried his means by all means possible to ensure that I and my siblings, the boys and the girls, go to school. But for some other persons that I lived in, because I live in Agbo, and for so many other persons while growing up, they had challenges like that, and they were so unfortunate to drop out of school. And this issue is something that we need to shed more light on.
Okay. All right. So, how can a girl be a catalyst for change in our environment?
Well, I believe that now there is something that I believe so much in. Two individuals cannot have the same idea. So a male's idea would definitely be different from a female because of their background, because of how they are shaped, because of the things that make them who they are. So for a girl, their idea, they are seen or they are trained to be someone that nurtures. They are trained to be a mother, a sister. They are always in the picture. So because of this, they always bring different ideas to the table. So when we are talking about girls acting as catalysts for social change, I believe that, like you stated names of people who are doing massively well for the country. And these are things that we see girls focusing on. Not to say that guys are not doing this, but if they had not sent these people to school, or had not given them the opportunity to be out there, they wouldn't have been able to create this change that they are creating. Now, think of a world where all girls are stuck in the kitchen or probably in the house as a wife or maybe as someone who takes care of the home. Would these changes it won't be possible that these changes will be made. Those girls actually decided to make these changes because they were given a platform or they created a platform to cause this change. So of course, girls are catalysts for social change, and it just boils down to each and every one of us to support every girl child.
All right. And now let's begin to look at those challenges the girl child faces in our society in
Yes.
terms of generally, economically, educationally,
Yes.
and otherwise. Just let's name it.
Okay. I'm going to list them and then I'll shed more light on them. So, firstly, we have gender based discrimination, we have female genital mutilation, we have child marriage. And it is also known that girls are most vulnerable to violence and trafficking. So, for gender based discrimination, we know that, like I said earlier, there are cultures that actually believe that a girl child should not be given certain opportunities. While growing up, I could hear most persons, even teachers at that time, would always say girls are not supposed to be in STEM, that is science, technology, or engineering departments, because it is not what girls are supposed to. I am very grateful that and happy to see that most girls are now venturing into this area or this career path. But then it was very difficult. This is because they already have this stereotype that girls cannot do everything. But I'm here to tell you that girls can, if given the platform, we can do all things. And aside this, I also talked about child marriage. Now, child marriage, even though has been prohibited by the Child Rights Act, is still something that I believe most communities still do. Child marriage is something that not only steals the future of this girl child, but puts them in different health related issues, health related problems. So it is important for us to understand that a child is not meant to be a wife or a mother. A child is meant to be in school, studying and creating a career path for herself, for her future generations. Now, aside this, we also talked about, I also listed the fact that girl child is vulnerable to violence, sexual abuse, and trafficking, most importantly. Currently, we have a law called Violence Against People Prohibition Act 2015. This act prohibits federal female genital
As the
mutilation.
VAP law.
Yes, the VAP law. Yes, it prohibits that. And also the Child Rights Act prohibits violence and trafficking, child trafficking. But we see that most times these things happen in closed doors. We know that it happens, and that is why we are hoping on the policies that have been put in place to be duly enforced in order for us to eradicate anything that puts a girl child in a vulnerable situation.
Okay. Now, talking about education,
Yes.
we've noticed that a lot of girls are now going to school. They're now beginning to have a voice. They're now
Exactly.
beginning to speak well for themselves and also speak well for the society. But again, one challenge that poses forward is when a lady gets married, it looks like all her career is thrown into the dust. I don't know if you've ever experienced such, if you've seen, and how do you think this has affected the growth of the girl child? I mean, growing up in an area, in a family whereby you see that your mother, an educated woman, that well schooled, all of a sudden she's just stuck in the house. The father is not allowing her to do anything, and you grew up with that mentality. I mean, how will this affect your being that great woman that wants to make a change in the society?
Well, the first question you asked me, a girl being a catalyst for social change, I believe that this question that you just asked is one of the challenges that a girl faces. And this all boils down to not just our mentality as individuals, but also our culture. I believe that we all know that most communities and societies believe that once you're married, you're meant to be at home, take care of your husband while he goes out to work, and you take care of your children as well. And if we keep on passing this mentality to our children, or most especially our girl child, they will all grow up with the idea that once I am married, I'm supposed to pause everything that I am doing or have been doing. And this is completely wrong, because marriage is supposed to aid, not abate, not to stop. Sorry, it's not supposed to avoid or prevent you from achieving your goals. It's supposed to aid you. And I believe that this is where the boy child also comes to play, because if we already start feeding the boy children or the boy child with the mentality of once you get married, your wife is not supposed to do anything aside from taking care of the home. Or if a boy child grows up in a home where their mother's life is put on hold because she needs to take care of her family and her husband, then he gives him this mentality that his wife is supposed to be like that. But I believe that if we start redefining what it means to have a career, and also understanding that every woman, every girl has multitasking skill. I know you may not know this, but we know how to multitask because she's someone that nurtures. If a woman can take care of her child and her home at the same time, of course she can take care of her career as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me reveal the story to you. There's this man, is a Nigerian billionaire, Jite Odeworishe Tesi Jimoje. He just married the 19th wife.
Wow.
And he's a very rich man. He's a billionaire. He says, according to him, he's from the oil-rich Delta State, our Delta State here. And according to him, he says that if every man could take up this action of marrying women more, that it would take a lot of women out of the streets.
Wow.
Now, He also says that women are given limitless places in offices and even in spaces in the world that you see women go through a lot. So for him, the better way to save women is to marry them and take care of them. But then you must do this if you're financially buoyant. Now, do you agree with his statement that to save women from our society, you marry them, even married to the 19th one, and he's planning to get the 20th wife?
Wow.
Now, two questions.
Yeah.
What do you make of this? Then, secondly, women that find themselves in this space, women and children, of course, children will grow into this
Yes,
family that
exactly.
find themselves in this space. What do you think would become of them when they grow up, knowing fully well that, I mean, you can just be married off. It's of no use going to school and all that, that idea. So what do you think they will make of this scenario?
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to put this question out there. What happened to empowerment? Because if you believe that getting married to this girl will take her off the streets, you can as well just give her the money enough or the capital to start a business of her own. Because I don't see why you need to get married to her to make her financially buoyant or to make her financially free. There is what we call empowerment. There is something we call giving her a platform to grow. Because for a wealthy man like that, he definitely has as much influence needed for a person to grow and to be financially free. So if you can help them financially, if you can give them capital and empower them, that is enough. That is enough to send to take a person out of the street. That's what I believe. Empowerment is enough. And also for family and for children who are born in this kind of situation, you can break the stereotype. You don't have to remain with the ideology that you need to get married to as much wives as possible to take them out of the streets. You can break the stereotype. You can start by creating platform for not just yourself if you're a girl child, and if you're a boy child, create a platform for yourself and others as well. You can also be a champion for change, and you can also be a champion for a better country where gender inequality does not exist.
Well, he also talked about colonialism, which has done more harm than good in our society. That back then, our fathers married more than one wife.
Yes.
And now we have gotten to the modernization, and now we are talking about women, one woman, one wife. That traditionally, it is one man, many women, and it creates a safe space. Like now, you were talking about okay, empower them. If he empowers them, if a man wants to act out or maybe just act funny with a woman, he can do it so easily. But because they know that now billionaire wife be that, if you touch him, back him, you go land for sale. You know, that mentality is already in them. So they tend to kind of stay away from them. So he feels that when they bear his name and he protects them from all kinds of mannerisms, all kinds of troubles that are in the society. Do you agree that that safe space would be created, and modernization has done a lot of harm to our tradition in terms of raising women in our society?
Okay. There is something that is said, change is the only constant thing in life, and aside that, it's the power of evolution. We are we are evolving as humans. We can't continue to be in the past. So even this year, this is 2025, come 2030, a lot of things would have changed. And that's just the power of evolution. And it is important for us to start embracing the change. If it was a change that has had negative effects, we would have said, okay, I don't think this change is good or important. But it's a change that has positive effects. And because it's a change that has positive effect, it should be something that everybody should embrace. And also talking about his name. To every girl child out there, you can make a name for yourself, right? You can make a name for yourself, believing that when you have a name of a certain person, it takes you off the street and it gives you protection. You can, just the way he made that name for himself, you can make the name for yourself. Other girls are out there, and like you said, Okonjo Iweala, she has made a name for herself. Wherever you hear that name, you would know that, oh yes, she made a name for herself, as well as much as she was able to do that for herself. You also, as a girl child, can.
All right, now let's look at roles that parents, schools, and communities play in protecting the girl child.
Yes. For teachers, as someone who is very particular about education, I'll start with the teachers first. For teachers, it is important for you to remove or dispose of any material, learning material that has stereotype, and learn to teach in such a way that it is gender sensitive, in the sense that it embraces both genders. If you're a teacher that sees or feels it's important for just the boy child to be in school and the girl child out, then um, it's definitely something that we should look out for. You're a teacher, and as being a teacher, we believe that a child spends in 24 hours, a child spends up to 12 hours in school, which means this child spends more time with you than with their parents. And it's important for you to know that what you put in them or what you put out there is what they produce, or is the result that you get. So you'll be mindful of the things that you do, and most especially learn to embrace both gender, particularly the girl child, because they are most vulnerable. I would give you a statistics. In Nigeria, we have over 10.2 million out of school children, and it is appalling to find that out of this 10.2 million, we have 7.6 million girls that are out of school. Now, see it. If we can work on that aspect as a teacher, as a parent, and a government, and as the government, I believe that we can cause the change that we want to see, because every child, regardless of their gender, deserves to be in school and deserves to be educated.
Okay, what about the role of parents?
Yes, of course, parents. Um, like I would always say, parents are like an umbrella. If it is torn open, when the rain drops, it definitely will get the child wet. So what this means is your mentality, the way you treat a child, actually matters a lot. So as a child, I believe that as a parent, sorry, I believe that you should embrace your child regardless of their gender. Do not allow the culture that you grew up with or the community that you find yourself determine who should be loved and who shouldn't. A child is a child regardless of their gender.
All right, you've been listening to Ambassador Marvis Ogbewi, and she has been talking to us about the girl child making a social change in our society.